What is good, YouTube? It's Kiara, and we are back talking about more movies. This time, it is still going to be movies that I've just watched for the first time this year, but they're going to be older movies, some that I just haven't seen before, but that I ended up loving. So, yeah, if you want to hear some of the old new movies that I loved this year, then please keep watching. So I have 10 favorites and 3 honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is the Men in Black series. They were released in 1997, 2002, and 2012. This series is some of my mom and my brother's favorites. They love Will Smith so much, so he was very big in our household, and I have never seen these because I suck. So I watched them for the first time in preparation for the new one, but then I didn't even watch the new one yet, so I suck. But Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones together is just magic. They are so good together. They're so weird, but they're great, so I can see why they're so iconic. Men in Black is a secret agency that deals with alien life and intergalactic species. They deal with all this while keeping the knowledge of aliens a secret, and it centers around Jay, who is a newbie, and his partner Kay, who is a vet, and just their ventures together. The next honorable mention is another Will Smith movie, and that is Bad Boys from 1995. I've only watched the first one in preparation for Bad Boys for Life, so I still have one to go, but I love this movie. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence were incredible together. These movies are about 2 cops named Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett, and just, bad boys and fighting, drugs, and just, all that fun stuff. Watch this movie if you want both action and comedy in one. The last honorable mention is The Perfect Storm, which was released in 2000. Everybody dies. The end. That's literally what it's about. This is based on the story of fishermen and just the terrifying jobs that they really do have. On Halloween of 1991, 3 storms merged to create the biggest perfect storm of literal mass destruction. And our ship, the one we are focusing on, is caught in the middle of this storm. We love some Marky Mark and George Clooney, so I was so excited going into this, and I was so sad at the end. I can't believe my mom let me watch this, not knowing anything. But definitely everybody has to watch this. It was so good, and I loved it. And now on for my top 10. Coming in at number 10 is Geostorm, which was released in 2017. From the wise words of my mama, Geostorm, modern, but not as good as The Day After Tomorrow. Our main character creates a system built to protect Earth from oncoming storms and able to prepare for them, but unfortunately something happens to this system, and it's just a race against time to prevent this gigantic geostorm that will wipe out the entire Earth. Lord, it was so good. Just watch it. You will not be disappointed. Number 9 is Skyscraper, which was released in 2018. This is another Dwayne Johnson movie because he works so much and is in every single movie. Former FBI agent and war vet is now working security detail in the safest building in the entire world. Then that building catches on fire and he is framed for this. So now it is a race to clear his name, but at the same time save his family who is stuck inside of this building. He scales the side of the skyscraper in this crazy ass movie, and not to mention he only has 1 leg, so this is such a badass man right here. But I really enjoyed this movie and everyone should watch it. Coming in at number 8 is The Departed, which was released in 2006. I'm a disappointment. I'm from New England and I have never seen this movie. 2 separate organizations, 2 moles, and both trying to figure out who's who before the other one leads to some crazy shit. Mark Wahlberg, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jack Nicholson all in one movie. What more could you ask for? Coming in at number 7 is Tag, which was released in 2018. Can I please have a group of friends like this? Tag is just essentially about a group of 5 friends who, from the time that they were young until they're grown-ass adults now, each year, 1 month out of the year, they come back together and to continue their game of tag. This time is a little different than other times because they are now, 4 of them are teaming up to try and tag the only undefeated member. The fact that this is based on a true story is incredible. I shout out to you guys so much because you're keeping a bond that is so easily lost when you get older, and also you're staying young and staying in that fun mindset that also gets lost when you get older. People get boring when they get older, and y'all are keeping yourselves young, and that is amazing. I love this movie. The cast was incredible. It was such odd people to put together, and it worked so well, and I loved it. Number 6 is Flipped, which was released in 2010. I read the book this year for the first time too. I've seen this book so many times over the years, and this is the first time I picked it up, and I'm so glad that I did. This is about Julie Baker at age 8 who falls in love with her new neighbor Bryce Losky. For the next 6 years, we see her continuing this love of him while he wants nothing to do with her. And then eventually one day she realizes that maybe it's a waste and maybe he is not the love of her life, at the same time that he is beginning to see Julie different and may think that she may be the love of his life. And I'm like, of course that happens, right? This book/movie was so cute. The ending was adorable. I don't know if it's possible to find who you're going to spend the rest of your life with at age 8, but like, maybe, because Sweet Home Alabama is one of my favorite movies ever, and that's kind of what happens. So like, hey, watch this movie. Coming in at number 5 is Independence Day, which was released in 1996. This movie is about an alien invasion with one mission to destroy the world. An unlikely duo is brought together, Captain Stephen Hiller, who is played by Will Smith, and David Levinson, who is played by Jeff Goldblum. They are brought together to save the world, and that they do. This movie has so many heroes in it, and you're rooting for all of them. It's very empowering. It was so cute, ended perfectly. I'm sad it took me so long to watch it. Number 4 is the original Shaft, released in 2000. John Shaft, a New York City cop, deals with every kind of criminal you could ever expect, and he is hilarious while kicking ass the entire time. This movie revolves around him retiring from the police force but still trying to bring justice to a racist. One woman witnessed the crime that this movie is about occur, and it is John's mission to find her, bring her back, and get her on the stand. Samuel L. is one of the funniest people alive, and I loved this movie. I loved the other characters and how they meshed really well together. So funny. Definitely became one of my favorite movies of all time. What's funny is that if this was released nowadays with all the freaking sensitive ass people in this world, this would not be as successful as it was back then. He is very insensitive towards everything, and I love it. It makes it funny because I'm not a sensitive millennial like the rest of everybody. Now for our top 3. Coming in at number 3 is Rampage, which was released in 2018. Once again, another Dwayne Johnson movie, and this, I'm not gonna say it's my favorite because he's in so many, but it's definitely up there. Rampage is about a primatologist who has raised a silverback gorilla named George from the time that George was born. A genetic experiment goes wrong and causes George, a wolf, and a reptile of some sort to grow to massive heights, and it doesn't just mess with their like growing genes, it messes with the inside too, and they become really hostile, including George. And the whole movie is around stopping them from, destroying the planet, because that's what they plan on doing. It ends just the way we want it to. It was perfect and I loved it, and I want George as a pet. He was wonderful. Number 2 is Bohemian Rhapsody, which is released in 2018. This is truly one of the most amazing portrayals of a character I have ever seen. Rami Malek did Freddie perfectly. It was incredible to watch him play Freddie Mercury and do so well. Queen is one of the most legendary rock bands of all time, and this tells the story of their rise to fame, Freddie going solo, and then eventually their reuniting at the Live Aid concert, and wow. The performance at the Live Aid benefit has gone down in history as probably the best performance in rock and roll history, and that's just amazing. I watched the video of the comparison of the original performance that Queen did and Rami Malek's version, and they were spot on identical. He really put so much effort and so much work into this, and he was amazing. This one is going to be a long one, and I apologize now. But coming in the top spot is the Scream trilogy that was released in 1996, 1997, and 2000. I have no clue why it took me this long to watch the series. Let's start with the first movie. So I have seen the beginning of this, the Drew Barrymore part, probably a million times as a kid, but I don't remember anything after that, so I've never watched the whole movie. It's so stupid. First movie is by far my favorite of the 3. It was so good. I'm not the best at guessing endings, but sometimes I have a good feeling, and I had no clue who the killer was the entire movie. These movies revolve around Sydney, whose mom was killed, and she is now being stalked by a killer in a Ghostface mask. It is made to believe the entire first movie that the killer is her father, and even I start to believe that. Some people just don't make sense, or I don't know, you have like a gut feeling, and obviously my gut feeling's wrong. I never expected these people, because there's 2 killers in this one, and it ended up being her boyfriend Billy and his best friend Stu. First of all, Shaggy is not a killer. He's not a killer. I don't like seeing characters that I love so much and something else so bad. You find out in this movie that Billy killed Sydney's mom originally because her mom was having an affair with his father, and it ultimately ruined his family, and he just wants vengeance. You believe at one point that he is innocent and he gets away and everything works out, and then it doesn't work out. This movie blew my mind, and I love Skeet so much. I saw a TikTok where it's like, Skeet could get it in 1996 and he could get it now, and I stand by that. Scream 2. Sydney is now in college, and once again there is a Ghostface killer coming back. This one revolves around Sydney, Gail, Dewey, and Randy, who all survived the first killers, and they have to work together to find out who this one is. Once again, it is 2 killers, and I guessed from the beginning that one of the killers was going to be Mickey. I just had a wicked, weird feeling about him, and he was too obsessed with the stab movies, which are just Sydney's story that somebody's making into a movie. He was so obsessed with them and so intrigued, and I was like, dude, he has to be a copycat killer because he's so impressed with them. The second killer I did not guess because she was pretending to be a reporter the entire time, but it ended up being Billy's mother. What? And boy, I was so shook. She did it for revenge for her son, and shit was so wild. Scream 3, once again, our 4 survivors are determined to find out the next copycat killer. This time Randy does get killed, and I cried very much. That was very sad. He survived so long, and he taught us all the rules, you know? I love him. This time the killer is killing off the cast members of the newest Stab film. The only person that he's left alive so far is the person playing Sydney. Weird. The killer turns out to be Roman, who reveals himself as Sydney's half-brother. Sydney's mother was raped, and he is the product of that. So when he approached her, she shut the door in his face and wanted nothing to do with him. So he vowed revenge. We also found out that he planted the initial thought in Billy's head that began the events of the first two movies. The creators, the director, everybody involved in this was so genius. I don't know why these old movies have blown my mind so much and why I'm so like in love with them now, but I am. This was just crazy. I loved them. Sydney, of course, kills Roman and kills him with a headshot because it's the only way she knows they will not come back. She begins her life of freedom and she's not scared anymore because he is the original Ghostface killer. He's the reason for all of this shit that has occurred. This series just blew my mind and has easily become one of my favorite series of all time. Pretty high on that list because I've never felt like this during a movie. I was just like, what? The whole time. So there you have it. Those are my favorite old but new to me movies that I watched in 2019. Let me know down below any old movies that I have to see that you loved, that, you know, are iconic, that need to be watched. I'll definitely get to them. I really do love movies and I am appreciating older movies now. It's great. But if you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like, be sure to share and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that bell if you want to be notified every time that I post a new video. Also follow all my social media. It will be listed down below only if you want to, you know, keep up with my life a little bit more. Up to you. But yeah, until next time.